Hey, welcome to the Scoot on the Air YouTube channel. I want to thank Generations Hall. That is a great venue in the Warehouse District of New Orleans. Generations Hall reached out to me recently and they asked me to host an 80s night. It's coming up this Saturday, July 17th. 80s night. It is going to be a blowout. I am also honored that they wanted to include a celebration of reaching the milestone of 50 years in broadcasting. I know I've been doing this shit 50 years. And in the beginning, I never thought I'd be doing something like this from my home. I mean, it's crazy. But I'm still loving life. I'm still loving my job and loving what I do. So I'm doing a series of this week leading up to this weekend and the celebration of anniversary, and then also 80s night, leading up to it with some stories about the early years of my career. And I want to share this with you. And a lot of you don't know this. It's just a little insight. And for those of you who have been listening, more recently and don't go way back in my past, this is an opportunity to kind of let you know a little bit about the foundation for Scoot on the Air. Now, it started out as Scoot in the morning, and as I said in the last episode, I was put on in the morning because in the early 70s, nobody was listening to FM radio in the morning. So I said, well, let's put this guy, we'll put him on in the morning. He's really bad. He's new. He's inexperienced. We'll put him on in the morning because nobody was listening. Well, I started to just develop this personality show, and it worked. It started to get attention. And so I really want to go back to some of the early callers that defined my show. First of all, let's remember that in the early mid 70s, people didn't call FM radio stations, especially in the morning. I mean, again, there was literally no audience there. So I start doing this personality show with really no guidance from management or anybody. They just kind of put me there and, he's just on the air there. It's the morning, so who cares? So I start developing this show and it starts working. And, I'm using a lot of double entendres. And remember, 74, 73, 74, 75, I guess, too. Yeah, these were years when, standards were a lot different. It didn't take much to be outrageous back then. What was shocking back then is tame today. But trust that it was shocking as shit back then. So 1975, this was really, again, early in my career. And the cover of Playboy magazine had a Playmate on it. She was the Playmate that month, February 1975. And her name was Laura Mish. Well, Laura called into my radio show. This is like the first memorable call I received. And I was like so flattered. I mean, she lived in New Orleans and she was listening. But having this Playboy Playmate in 1975, I mean, you can Google her, Laura Mish, M-I-S-C-H. She was hot. Anyway, so she's calling my show on a regular basis. And for a while, she kind of becomes part of the show. And so I got so much credibility from that because this Playboy centerfold is freaking calling into my show at a time when nobody was doing this on FM. So it was really, really awesome. So I did a lot of stuff with Laura Mish on the air, and that was fun. I think she was married at the time. So, I mean, I never, met her in person, but I need to try and get a hold of her today and see if I can get her on the air because, again, this was just a great memory for me. And, I was this young DJ, and so here's this centerfold calling me, and I just had instant credibility on the air. So then things go on a little bit. And another early caller that stands out was this girl that used to call me from, well, one morning she called me from the bathtub. She lived in Chalmette, suburb of New Orleans. And she calls me from her bathtub. And she calls herself Tammy in the Tub. And I mean, water splashing in the background, and we're talking. And I don't know if she really was, but the perception is there's this naked girl in the bathtub, splash of water, taking a bath in the morning while she's talking to me on the show. And I have no freaking idea what we talked about, but I guarantee you it wasn't serious. And it wasn't about politics. And it wasn't about the state of the union or the state of the world. It was about just, bullshit stuff. But I'm just like, I'm having this. It was a very double entendre laden conversation with this girl who sounded really sexy calling from the bathtub. That was Tammy in the tub. And then also very early in my career, I was just on the air kind of joking about Mardi Gras, joking that we should just go out and parade in our underwear Mardi Gras Day. And the idea was, look, if you can't party in your underwear Mardi Gras Day, then when can you? It was all based on the idea of partying in your underwear. So I started talking about the crew of underwear. And for those of you not from the New Orleans area, that's what we call our parades. They're crews. So I start talking about the crew of underwear, and people start calling in and contributing to the conversation. Well, that leads to writing a song, and the listeners help with this, writing a song to the tune of God Bless America. But it was God Bless Our Underwear. Shorts that we love. Stand beside them and guide them from the balconies up above. I mean, I don't remember all the lyrics. But yeah, the audience was calling in, helping me write this song, God Bless Our Underwear. And various people would call up and sing that. So anyway, there was just continuing conversation about, crew of underwear. I said, well, okay, we're gonna do the crew of underwear, Mardi Gras Day. And at the time, this was on WWL FM. It was Rampart 102, but it was WWL FM. They were on Rampart Street, on the edge of the French Quarter. And Mardi Gras Day, I said, well, just come on down, and we're gonna walk through the streets of New Orleans in our underwear. Well, I was prepared to do that. I mean, I had some like boxer shorts or something fun. I mean, it was not designed to be sensual. It wasn't designed to be like erotic and really sexy. It was just designed to be stupid fun, parading in your underwear. And anyway, that got a lot of attention. So that morning, I get off the air at 10 o'clock. I go to the balcony. I look out on Rampart Street, and there may have been 800, 1,000 people there. I was fucking shocked. Two guys made a giant purple pair of boxer shorts. It was a banner, and it had yellow lettering on it, the crew of underwear. And they were set to lead the parade. There were women that showed up in teddies. There were women that showed up in like these really skimpy sexual outfits, push-up bras and, bikini panties. And then there were a lot of guys that just showed up in boxer shorts kind of stuff. So it was just crazy. I mean, I had no idea it was going to even work. I thought, maybe there'll be, 20, 25 people there. Because again, this was the early years of FM, but I could tell the show was starting to take off. But man, that was just an amazing surprise for me. And I mean, it just felt like, oh my God, this is actually going to happen. And we did. I mean, no parade permit, nothing. We just marched through the streets of New Orleans, and we threw red beans and rice. And the official instrument was the kazoo. So there were a lot of people with the, with the kazoo walking around in their underwear. And then, as we walked as a group, there were people who like joined in. And I mean, when I say joined in, I mean, there were people that like, they saw us and they, on the street in the French Quarter, they took their pants off and were holding their pants and started to parade with us in their underwear. So it got to be a little crazy. And over the years, we had crew of underwear balls at different nightclubs in Fat City and around the city. And it was It was um, it was stupid fun. It really was. And there is even a little talk about trying to bring back the Crew of Underwear in 2022. So just stay tuned for that. Let's see what else I would say. Oh, so coming up in the next episode 3, tomorrow, 50 years of being in broadcasting. Um, I want to talk about how I got kicked off the air. A general manager kicked me off of the air in the middle of the fucking show because of a joke that I told about the presidential candidates that were running that year. And I guess this would have been 1976. Presidential election of 1976. Jimmy Carter and Gerald Ford, who had become president after Richard Nixon resigned because of Watergate. So I'll tell you that story. I mean, he called me on the air, kicked me off like in the middle of the show. I mean, it might have been 8 o'clock, and I'm supposed to go till 10 o'clock. Kicked me off. Told me to get out of the studio. Get out of there. I did. Well, actually, now that I remembered, he called me and berated me for telling the joke, and I said, you know what? I'm done. I'm out of here. And I walked out of the studio. I left the mic on. Well, I'll tell the whole story tomorrow. If you haven't subscribed yet, I hope you will subscribe to this YouTube channel, Scoot on the Air YouTube. If you subscribe, we'll give you a little notice every time we do something, and you can tune in live or tune in later and check it out. But this is a chance for me to extend the show and be a little, looser with the stories that I tell. But this is really an extension of my show on WWL, and there's a lot of interesting things on here, some interesting interviews. One of the last interviews I did was with John Lodge of the Moody Blues, and that's posted here. So you can go back and scroll back and look at some of the videos that are posted, and I hope you enjoy some of them. So we'll continue with this tomorrow. I will also talk tomorrow night in the next episode about the midget wrestling event in the Dome. Yeah, I wrestled a midget. Well, it was actually a dwarf. And he turned on me in the ring. You see, it was all set up to be like this is the way it's going to play out. He turned on me. That little bastard turned on me. And he actually hurt me. I mean, I was off the air for 3 days. Trauma to the larynx. That little bastard was trying to get me off the air, or trying to really damage me in my career. Little bastard. He was a mean little son of a bitch. Cowboy Lang was his name. You can Google that too. Check him out. In fact, the interesting thing is I was warned by one of the regular wrestlers that he had heard that this guy was going to do this to me in the ring. And I'm sitting back there in the dressing room area backstage at the Dome, and I'm thinking, oh, that's bullshit. We got this all set up. I should have listened to him because that little bastard turned on me. So that'll be the story tomorrow night as we continue to, I don't know, I love to let you in on some of the early stuff that some of you may have missed, and give you my perspective on just starting this incredible career in radio. And it continues today. I'm on Monday through Friday, 1 to 4 Central Time in the afternoon on WWL. And if you haven't downloaded the app yet, download the app Audacy, AUDACY, and type in WWL, and you've got the show wherever you have your phone. Thank you for joining me here on the Scoot on the Air YouTube channel.